According to Jack Plooij, Englishman Lando Norris has a pre-contract with Ferrari. Teams are interested in the British driver in the papaya-coloured Mclaren, even though he has a contract until mid-2025. The team will do everything possible to keep him, and there appears to be no reason for the driver to leave McLaren for Ferrari right now. Let's get straight into the topic of this video. Sainz appears to be on his way to Audi, leaving a vacancy at Ferrari's Italian Scuderia. So, who is going to drive there? Plooij told Ziggo Sport Race Cafe, "Lando Norris, because I believe he has a pre-contract with Ferrari. I believe there is a clause in there that allows him to activate himself whenever he wants," the journalist continues. Other rumours are circulating about Norris's teammate Oscar Piastri. In the broadcast, Robert Dornbos stated that he believes the Australian talent will join Red Bull by lobbying his manager Mark Webber. "That wouldn't surprise me one bit," he said. It's clear that Norris and Piastri are doing well. McLaren's car has been very competitive in recent races, and both drivers can compete for podium positions at the front. Whether both drivers want to leave the team where they are currently performing so well remains to be seen. According to journalist Jack Plooij, Lando Norris, the esteemed British driver known for his impressive stints so far with McLaren, has reportedly signed a preliminary agreement with Ferrari. Oscar Piastri, who has had a successful rookie season, is also expected to join Red Bull. With his noticeable success in McLaren's distinctive papaya-hued car, it's no surprise that other teams are interested in him, even though his current contract with McLaren runs until 2025. Despite the increased interest, McLaren is determined to keep Norris, and, as things stand, Norris doesn't have much incentive to swap his McLaren seats for one at Ferrari, with his car currently trailing the RB19 in terms of performance. Plooij responds when asked who could potentially replace Ferrari's Carlos Sainz if he decides to move to Audi. Plooij admitted to Ziggo Sport Race Cafe, "Lando Norris, because I believe he has a pre-contract with Ferrari. I believe there is a clause in it that allows him to activate himself whenever he wants," the journalist observed. The rumour mill isn't just talking about Norris, but also his young teammate Piastri. At the same time, Robert Dornbos speculated that the young Australian prodigy might be headed to Red Bull thanks to the efforts of his manager Mark Webber. "That wouldn't surprise me one bit," he said. The recent performances of Norris and Piastri have demonstrated their talent and potential. The competitive edge with McLaren's race car has been clear, with both drivers consistently battling for podium finishes in the last few races. However, it is still being determined whether these drivers would willingly leave a team where their performance has been commendable and has been steadily improving. Sainz is having a difficult time at Ferrari. The Spaniard demonstrates weekly that he has the same speed as his teammate Charles Leclerc, but cannot score points. Sainz finished 4th in the sprint race but was not pleased with his performance. After the race, his engineer told him over the radio that P4 was a good result. "No, not at all," the Ferrari driver replied. "I warned you," he said sternly. The former race winner wanted to be more satisfied with his pit stop. After the race started, Sainz, like everyone else, wanted to stop for a set of intermediates. Following a less successful pit stop by his team, he dropped to 7th place after his pit stop. The driver was unable to continue his journey because it was blocked by other drivers in the pit lane who were also stopping. "I'm not sure if we were overly cautious or what, but we need to look into it because it can't be that the car behind me goes P1 and I go P7, the Ferrari driver told GP Blog and others. "The issue for us is that we're so early in the pit lane that by the time your pit stop is finished, everyone's coming through, so you can't launch the pit lane, which is a disadvantage. It's a huge position to be in purely by chance, and we need to review because you could be disadvantaged but also cautious, and perhaps we were both." Despite a slew of new upgrades, the MCL60 fails to meet F1 drivers' expectations in slow-speed corners, as demonstrated at Silverstone. According to Planet F1, he stated, "These tracks allow us to take good care of the tyres. As I previously said, we are extremely competitive in high speed. We're almost on par with what Red Bull could achieve, and we're close to being the best car on the grid at medium speeds like turn 15 here, Stowe." To which he replied, super high speed like turn 9 cops, maybe not quite as much, but that was in qualifying. And then when it comes to the race, we definitely maintain our performance when others appear to take a hit, and by doing so, we can actually take good care of the tyres, especially when there is no thermal limitation within the tyre, as there is today. But we do have a bad car, and when I say bad, I mean pretty bad in slow speed corners, extremely difficult to drive. It will be interesting to see if Lando Norris makes any major moves after his current stint at McLaren, and if the MCL60 continues to improve throughout the rest of the year. Red Bull Motorsport advisor Helmut Marko praised Alex Albon this week after the former Red Bull driver finished a brilliant P8 at the British Grand Prix before honouring Norris. He has a contract with McLaren until 2025, but he is by far the strongest of the young drivers, the 80-year-old told Kleine Zeitung. His youth would also be advantageous to Red Bull. However, Red Bull may have already lost Norris to Ferrari. According to Saywood, there's a rumour in the paddock that Norris has already signed a pre-contract with the Scuderia, though that won't be until 2026 because McLaren insists Norris will stay with the team for the entire duration of his contract. Meanwhile, Ferrari is said to be losing Carlos Sainz to Audi, with the Spaniard joining the team a year before Audi officially arrives, while Mercedes is interested in Charles Leclerc as a long-term replacement for Lewis Hamilton. Norris and Albon were the subjects of widely diverse rumours about the future over the weekend, with both being mentioned in connection with Ferrari and Red Bull, Saywood wrote in his most recent blog. Whether such moves make sense for either man is debatable, but some speculate that Lando may already have a pre-contract with Ferrari. Given where Ferrari is now, I don't see that as a logical career path, but then going to Red Bull and trying to beat Max Verstappen is also a career path from hell. The rumour mill now believes Carlos Sainz will join Audi in 2025, while others believe Charles Leclerc will go insane if he stays at Ferrari and that Mercedes would love to have him. I'm not saying any of this is true, I'm just pointing out the idle chatter. But that's for the future, as the focus right now is on Perez and whether or not he can keep his Red Bull seat with Ricciardo looming large. Ricciardo, who was promoted to an AlphaTauri race seat this week, will make his racing debut at the Hungarian Grand Prix, with the Honey Badger said to be in a 12-race audition for Perez's job. Saywood confirms the audition rumours. The big question mark in the near future seems Sergio Perez, who has had a terrible time as Max Verstappen's teammate, he wrote. The Mexican socks have been blown off in recent weeks, and while he has a contract until 2024, there is concern in the team that if the opposition is stronger next year, Red Bull will require a better second driver. This is why Daniel Ricciardo is being given the opportunity to test himself with Scuderia AlphaTauri for the remainder of the season. He does not believe Perez will be demoted to AlphaTauri because Liam Lawson is knocking on the door. The latest speculation suggests that Liam Lawson is likely to appear in an AlphaTauri, or whatever it is called, in 2024, Saywood added. However, stories about Spain's Alex Palou being with the Red Bull team are fading, and although the IndyCar driver has been talking to other teams, the chances are that he will end up back in IndyCar with either McLaren or his current employer Ganassi. Joe Saywood then discussed Red Bull, confirming that Sergio Perez is on the hot seat and mentioning that Daniel Ricciardo could take his place as early as 2024 if he performs well with AlphaTauri in the latter part of this season. The possibility of Liam Lawson joining the team based in Faenza has been confirmed, while Alex Palou joining Formula 1 appears to be fading. Please subscribe to the channel and post your video recommendations in the comments area if you want us to do more videos like this.